do so. You could leave it as a comment under this video you're seeing now. It will be better if you leave it under this video. There's no need sending it to the blog. Just leave it under this video you're seeing now, so we could address your questions as fast as possible. I'm not going to be diving into announcement today because there's a lot of hot topics we need to discuss today. So you could just be going through the screen to read the announcements for yourself, so we can go straight to the matters of today. It's going to be a wonderful time. I hope you're ready. So invite all your friends. Let them know that Pastor is already seated to answer every question you might have in any area of interest, in any area of your concern. So as we are going to move to Pastor just right away. So get ready as we go to Pastor. Good evening, Pastor.
Bless you. You're looking great.
Thank you, Pastor. You're welcome. Looking great, too.
Thank you.
Nice colors.
Sure.
That is great. Wow. So how has the week been for you?
The week.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's just for me.
Right.
But I think for anybody that will regard himself as an achiever,
Right.
that they don't really care how the week or the day goes, as long as they are locked up in their own prison, in the prison of their vision.
Right.
So why in that prison, it doesn't matter, you don't feel too good sometimes in prison. In prison, you don't always feel like following your mood. It's a good mood, or you don't feel nice. The most important thing in the prison of your vision and your goal is the ability to be able to carry out the goals and the targets that you put before yourself. So how you feel, if, you know, I'm going to be following how I feel, or how the mood is, or how the weather is, or how the week is, or how the day is, then it will mean that I assess myself by the power of the happiness around me, of my environment. But if you are a high achiever, you want to rather be on top of that and put your environment and the happiness around and in your life under your own control and under your power. Subdue your environment, subdue the happiness around you to make sure that they work towards you achieving the very same thing you want to achieve. But generally speaking, I've been able to achieve what I set out to do this week. I was in court this week. I think that went very well. I did a few swimming this week. I need to do at least 3 swimming a week, so I was able to do that. And this week as well, I was able to put in place a program of starting a new television show here for the Ukrainian people on the national television.
Wow.
So I was able to also achieve that. I was also able to finish the leadership school we started last week. And then, with my daily programs, my live program.
That has been awesome.
Yeah, so you know about that.
That has been awesome. Wow.
People were excited about the last 2.
Yes, exactly what I was about to say. All I can say is wow. That's what I can say about
Yesterday was a wow day, right?
It was just wow.
Both morning and
yes. It was just
money,
wow.
problem and money.
Right. It was awesome. It was a message like no other. The angle you were coming from, it was just extraordinary. It's more like taking 2 common things that people know but don't relate it and bringing it together, so people were able to relate. So it was just driving the point home, and it was hitting hard. It was just
painful.
amazing.
It was hitting hard.
No, it wasn't painful. It was more like an eye-opener, a revelation. It's just wow is the word.
Yeah,
so,
because you should be rejoicing if you are a doctor now and I have toothache or I'm sick. I'm sick. Oh, my stomach is paining me, and you are my doctor.
Right.
But really, you are happy because you got a job.
That is the reality, but we don't like to say it that way. I would rather say I'm helping you. You know, I'm actually suffering for your sake.
Because otherwise you will not be able to take money to the house, to the family, and be able to put food to the table of your family.
I wouldn't say it's about you. It's about me caring for you. I'm there to save you. So that is
So
my
if
work.
I break my leg now,
I'm there to help you.
but then if you are there to help me, why do you receive some payment for that?
No. It's help, actually.
But then when you have social issues or family
Right.
issues or personal issues, you come to the pastor.
That's true.
So your whole tragedy becomes my blessing.
No, we wouldn't like to say that. Rather, I would rather say you're serving God and, so. Yeah, so let's go straight to the question for today.
So wherever there is problem, there is money.
Yeah, that was awesome, Pastor. Thank you for your time and investment.
And then the barrenness one will appeal to the Africans, I guess.
Yes, it's actually, I don't know, you just hit the nail on the head, because you can't begin to imagine what women without children go through in Nigeria. It's not the way it even is. It's not necessarily about women without children now. The moment you get married in the African setting as a woman, there's a time, your in-laws expect you should be pregnant, and even your mother, your husband's mother, they will be calling, has anything happened yet? Maybe 1 year after marriage, or not even 1 year. Some parents are so impatient, 6 months they will be calling, has anything happened yet? We've not heard any news from you. The news they're talking of is pregnancy and childbirth. So now imagine when you stay 1 year or 2 years after marriage and you've not given birth, they will start asking what is happening. Problem from in-laws, and some women are just so traumatized. They don't even have a life anymore. Going from one prayer house to the other,
What about if you
looking
are
for solution.
when you are totally barren?
Yeah, sometimes they actually kick the woman out of the house. Some mothers, if it's a husband that is not strong or firm, they might bring another lady from the village to the man's house, for their son. Different kinds of things. But that is changing now, though. That is changing now a little bit, but it's still there, that cultural thing. So the message was really an awesome one. So, but Pastor, we have a lot of questions. I would rather we'll go to the questions and
Anybody who is interested in that will go to the YouTube.
yeah, and see the videos. And by the way, before we go ahead with the questions today, from the last section on Saturday, I read under some of the comments about those who were complaining about Pastor's mic, that they didn't hear Pastor well, and they were requesting that the first 3 questions should be repeated. The complete video is on YouTube, so you could go check it and listen to it yourself, so you could have the complete message. So just go check for that video on YouTube. Everything is there. Thank you. So
The YouTube is okay, right?
yes, yeah, thank you, and let's continue. This person is saying, Pastor, dear Pastor, is it okay to tie church members' prayer expectations from God to their participation in declared church activities/programs? For instance, God will only respond to your request if you respond to his needs. For example, a declared outreach program.
Everything you read, I didn't understand anything.
Okay, let me
Got to-
leave what he was writing and try to explain the concept. He's saying, is it right that your prayers, your prayer requests, your expectations is tied to your response to church activities? That's what I understood from this. Like, for instance, what you do in church is what is going to cause God to answer your prayers.
I'm sorry to say this, but that is an old school church manipulation.
Okay.
And I understand where the pastors are coming from, because I'm a pastor myself.
Okay.
And they try to find a way to motivate people.
Right.
But it's called fear motivation.
Okay.
And where there is fear, there is no love.
That's right.
So people are more concerned about the church getting their agenda out, or getting their plans carried out, or getting their targets met. And they are using members to do that, instead of empowering members and using other incentives, like doing things for the members, so that the members will willingly be happy to give back. But they are using the easy way, the shortcut, by telling people, we are not saved by works. We are no more in the era of works. That is works right there. Works does not just apply to when you are trying to live, do this or you don't do that, live holy or you don't live holy. That's not just about works. Works is also pertains to duties and functions. That don't let. That's why Paul wrote to the Galatians and said, "Oh, you foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you to start in the spirit with grace and to end up in laws and rules. That okay, if you observe this day, then God will bless you. If you eat this and you don't eat that, God will bless you more. Those things don't apply anymore in the New Testament."
Okay. So if you're the one that asked that questions, I bet you got pastor's answers. So in summary, your God answering your prayers is not tied to your participation and activities in church. That is manipulation.
Yes.
Says pastor. The second one is, what is the most rewarding part of leading people for you?
The most rewarding part is in leading people is seeing who they become and how they become, how they get transformed, and how they come from nothing to something. I'm not interested so much in leaving the people the way they are and just testifying about what God did for them, in the sense that you prayed, which I didn't even have a contribution for. I just prayed and God did the healing, God did the blessing, but I want to see the fruit of my work, in the sense that apart from all that miracle, spiritual transformation or experience people experience, I want to see real life experience as well. I want to see how somebody is coming from wherever he is. It doesn't matter, either a millionaire or just poor or average or student or youth, to having a new mindset of being in charge of their vision, being in charge of their lives, being in charge of their own world, of knowing what to do, of understanding life, and of being able to have a good grasp of life itself, and of understanding of life, and being able to be in charge of situations in life, to be making people to understand God, life, themselves, and to be able to rule and be in charge on earth. So when that kind of transformation has taken place, when people have gone from the place of their past or the place of their ignorance to the place of their dominion, that's what really gives me the joy.
Wow.
And fulfillment.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Then this person is saying, Pastor, how can one have or establish a branch of your church in Europe?
Well, they could write to us. The person might want to write to me at pastor@godembassy.org. pastor@godembassy.org. But really, those are not our practices normally, but we'll hear what the person has to say. I don't believe in reaping where I didn't sow. I don't believe in people just coming and saying, okay, we want to be your branch somewhere. I didn't invest in you. I didn't contribute to it. I like to take you, invest in you, make sure that I contribute to your life, first of all. And then you could go and represent me. Then you know me. And at least you know what to carry. And then I can truly call you my disciple, because I know you have been impacted by me, and also your mind is now functioning like me. It's true. That is true. But when it's truthful. But when you just come from somewhere, somebody else has read you or raised you up, and somebody else has contributed to you, you just saw my star or my glory, and you just want to come under the umbrella. But that doesn't change who you have been all the while. Right. You are still who you are from wherever you are coming from. You have still not become me or my part or my being. So I don't like people to do that, in the sense that either I'm going to be cheating them or they are going to be cheating me. If I say they are my churches or they are our churches, but it's not going to be true. It's going to be lying, because I've not really invested in them. So I only call people daughter churches whom I've invested in. Okay. And so that time has to elapse, and to really make sure that that transformation from wherever they were, into who they would want them to be or they needed to be has taken place before we could say, yes, we're a family. Yes, we know it. They have to be born. Just like if somebody has to be born as well. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Amazing, Pastor. Wow. Great. 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 This question 4, I think you've addressed this, but I'm going to ask it too because it's asked. What is the true motive of prayer?
The true motive of prayer is it's been addressed already. I've already addressed that in my daily broadcast.
Right.
And the true motive of prayer is personal relationship with God. That is the ultimate motive of prayer. Okay. To be in personal relationship with the Father.
So if you're the one that asked that question, you got your answer. The true motive of prayer, first of all, is not asking for requests, it's not asking for needs, it's building a relationship with God. Okay, Pastor, there has been a serious chaos these few days in Nigeria about what the president said as regards to his wife, warning him of if he's not changing his way, she will not vote for him in the next term. And the president...
Oh, no, you mean the wife said that, not the president?
Yeah, the wife said that, and
okay,
him
no,
saying...
you have to start all over again, but
okay.
more orderly. What did the wife say? And what did the
she said
say?
That if the husband does not change the way he's doing things now, that in 2019, she was not going to vote for him anymore. And the husband in response saying that he does not know what party she belongs to, but he knows that she belongs to his kitchen, the sitting room, and the other room. So that has been bringing a lot of commotions in Nigeria, and people are really very displeased, especially the women. What is your take on that, what he said?
You know, if you are going to take what was said, both by the wife of the president
right.
and by the president out of context, then you can do all kind of, all kind of, what do you call it? All kind of noise, all kind of, scandal out of it. But I would not see it that way. But there are so many questions here.
Right.
From you just put it in general terms, but I think the first question that people might be interested in is, what do I think about what the lady said?
Right.
Number one. Number two, is it really true that some people have hijacked the government, or the people who work for the party, as she said, are not the ones now ruling? And that she only knows about 5%, and even the president only knows about 5, maybe out of 80 people that are being appointed as, giving political appointments, and that he doesn't know everybody. And the people who worked for them, who are with them in the campaign train, that they are not the ones being appointed, but other people who didn't work, maybe who didn't even believe in that they were going to win. That's what she said. Right. Before we now go into the kitchen and to the other one, because the other, if you don't take it one by one and orderly, we are going to become like every other person. Okay. We are going to become sensational, and we are going to be making so much ado about things that are not really worth it. So if we take everything piece by piece, then we understanding and clarity. Okay. And that is what causes confusion, where there is no clarity. Right. So I'm all about clarity. So let's start.
Okay.
Okay. Judging by what the lady said, I would think that is the greatest thing that has happened in the Nigerian political scene for a while.
Okay. Why do you think so?
But that's why I'm surprised when I hear the way Nigerians are discussing and what they are talking about.
Okay.
And the way and the perspective they are looking at it. I'm coming from another perspective altogether.
Okay. It's always great to hear your perspective.
Yeah, and thank God you are here to help other people know and to ask me the questions. I think, like I said, I want to repeat it, that discussion that's going on, and that thing that the lady said, and what the president said, is one of the greatest things. Everything, the whole thing, is one of the greatest things that Nigerians are supposed to be celebrating and rejoicing about.
Okay.
And the reason is that at last, an African country and an African president, and that is the approach that the president was supposed to take if I were him.
Okay.
If they had asked me that question and I was in his place, or I was a spokesman, I wonder why the spokesmen are not talking this way. I would have said, wow, we Nigerians are supposed to be proud of ourselves. We are supposed to be rejoicing right now for that thing that just happened. And that in the sense that the image of an African husband and an African wife has been broken just right there.
Okay.
And that image is that the man is a controller, the man is dominating, the man is, is an emperor, and the woman is nothing. And the woman is just supposed to be quiet and not to be able to say anything. But the fact that the wife of the president was able to say her mind and speak out her mind, and even in an interview, that tells us that she is not afraid of the husband,
Okay.
even though the husband is the president. She knows that he respects her enough to give her the right to own her own opinion.
Okay.
In Africa, this is the president of the country. Even average African family, sometimes you don't see that.
Right.
The most powerful man of the biggest, most populous African country, even that democracy is there. That is the greatest victory. That is my dream for Africa. So that in every African family, that kind of democracy will be there. Where the husband will know that the fact that I'm the husband doesn't mean that I suppress the opinion of my own wife.
Okay.
And the fact that I am the head of the family doesn't mean that she's not an individual of our own person and our own personality.
Okay.
Well, here we come out in the public before the whole world and say, this is the opinion of my husband, but I have my own opinion about what's going on. Tell me something about democracy. Tell me something about democracy. Tell me something about democracy, and tell me any other country that will have it better. So the way I'm saying it is that, this is an exemplary family. And this is a great example to the African family. I will challenge every African man that is talking right now. And I will challenge every African woman that is talking right now. If they have that type of right and that kind of freedom in their own family, I will challenge them. If their wife will do that, if they will not shut her down, if they will not sit her down, if they will not send her back to the village, if they will not do all that kind of thing, if they will not rebuke her, and she will still be her own person, even though she's having her own, plurality of opinion.
Yeah.
Brilliant, excellent, feel like kissing somebody, That's the way we do it here. Excellent thing. That means, because for her to have spoken out openly like that, it means she's expressed herself definitely before in the house, and she had not been shut down.
Okay.
It means she has spoken about that many times. It means she has, and she's used to her husband because they've been living together for 27 years. So it means for the last 27 years, she's never been shut down. So she is having so much of her own freedom, and she's so much her own person that she is able to express her own opinion. She still has her opinion.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that I would like my wife and my family to have. And that's the kind of thing that I will have. I would like every African family to have. Never suppress your wife. And every woman is an individual as well. Every woman has her own right to her own opinion. And because she's a wife doesn't mean she's not a citizen and she doesn't have an opinion. Just like when I was talking about my own opinion as a pastor, people in my own country also raised a lot of noise and said, I don't have the right to speak into the issues of politics because I'm a pastor. But apart from the fact that I'm a pastor, I'm also a citizen. I'm also a Nigerian. I'm also an individual. And the fact that Aisha Buhari is the wife of the president, that doesn't mean that she ceases to be a president. I mean, a citizen, a human being, a person, a citizen, a Nigerian. So, and you know, what people will think is right is this, that she should have blind submission and suppressing her own opinion in the so that's what everybody's expecting. They're expecting her to be quiet and to suppress her own opinion, and not, even though she's thinking otherwise, that she should not say it just for in the political correctness something. So for the sake of political correctness, she should just keep quiet or not say what she's thinking. But that would have made her unhappy. And not just her, that would have made any woman unhappy just because I'm a woman. And another good thing is that the fact that she's saying it openly like that means that the president is not a stooge. Okay. And that is another kudo on the president as well. It means that you cannot accuse the president of being a stooge to the wife. You cannot accuse the president of being under the shoes, under the heels of the wife. Because other people have been, like our previous president, he had been accused that he's under the authority of the wife and that the wife is the one in charge. But here, you cannot say that. Why? Because he's clearly telling us that she has a different opinion, that he is doing his own thing the way he believes it, which means her own opinion has not swayed his own point of view. It has not swayed him. He believes in what he's doing. Now, that's on one hand. Okay. Then the second part of this question that I would like to address is this. Concerning what the wife of the president said, right, I would like to be on the side of the president.
Okay.
But concerning what the president said, I would like to disagree with him.
Okay.
So let's start. Concerning what the wife of the president said, that he was supposed to have appointed the people who helped him to come to politics, to power, and the people who worked for him. Morally speaking, that sounds okay. And popularly speaking, that sounds okay. But this is not a popular contest we are running. This is the interest of the nation. Yes. We have to put above party, what do you call it? Interest. Yeah, personal interest and party interest even. What she's advocating for is that we should put the party interest, the partisanism of the party ahead of the national consideration. But what she is forgetting that, yes, Nigeria is such a complex place that even now that is appointing people who are not from the party or who didn't work for the party, but to make sure that the whole country is well represented and every group is well represented, both the opposition and the people in power. It wants to just build a balanced something to avoid conflict. Even now, he's still being accused that there are more northerners or southerners or the Igbos are not satisfied or the Niger Delta or something. People are still accusing him despite his efforts of even bringing a wider representation. What would have happened if he had just only been appointing people from his own party? These same people now who are calling on his head and saying, see what your wife is saying. So there are some people you didn't appoint. They are the ones who would have taken off his head. They are the ones who would have said, you are only appointing people from your party. So this is not politics. So it's not about Nigeria. This is this one party alone has taken over the country, and you have taken over. I know my country, and I understand the president very, very well, and I understand the wife. Sentimentally speaking, emotionally speaking, sentiment, she feels sorry for those other people who have worked, who have labored, and they have not been appointed yet. He's going to get to them, but he has to be balancing. A wise leader will appoint one of my own, but I will double it with two of other people so that nobody will complain. So before he gets to everybody, it might take some time, but he's using superior leadership wisdom. So I'm with the president on that one.
Okay.
Now getting back to
To his own response.
I'm sure I'm boring you with political talk.
No, not at all. It's intriguing.
There's too
though.
much politics there.
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, coming back to his own response,
Okay.
which is, I think he lost it. Some of his some of his people are trying to say he was joking and all that. No, he was really offended. And I think he was offended. I think he lost his emotion because he was asked, maybe not because the wife said that, but probably because the wife said that to the media. Not because he's against the wife saying that. I'm sure the wife has said that to him personally. Doesn't have anything against it. But the fact that she put it in public, which is a good thing for the country at large and for, what I said earlier, for the mentality of Africans and things. But I think he was also offended by the fact that he was asked right there in the press conference when he was discussing all that thing. So he wanted to quickly get rid of it. And he didn't think it through. So what he did was, to quickly shut them down and say, okay, I don't know what my wife did, said what party she belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and to my living room and all that and the other rooms. But that is not necessary, in my own opinion. What I would have said is what I had said earlier, that, wow, why are you people complaining? It means we have democracy in this family. This is democracy proper. So I applaud my wife that she has an own opinion. I have an own opinion, but since I'm still the president, she's not putting me under the something. But thank God, you should be rejoicing that I'm not the kind of president that is coming under the opinion of my wife. But see, I have my own opinion as president. And, if you want to know the reason why, these are the reasons why. Finish.
Great answer. Awesome.
So you are satisfied with my answer?
Yeah, I am. I believe our viewers would too. It's good to see it from that perspective, though.
It's a pity I'm not the speaker for the president.
Great,
I don't know what the speakers. That's the way I would have approached it.
Okay. Still in the limelight of Nigeria, before we move to other questions and everything and all that, it's been on the news about the returning of the Chibok girls. Is it really for real right now? Because we've heard of the Chibok girls returning for several times in the news. Is this for real?
Yeah, it is for real.
Okay.
21 girls have just returned. One returned earlier, so 22. Very few, but that's just about 10% of all the missing girls.
Oh, okay.
Only 10%. But 10% is still a percentage.
Oh, 21 returned?
Yes.
Okay. Are they in good conditions and all that?
No, of course. I'm sure they have all been raped and all that. One came back with a child, and maybe another one is pregnant, and they have all been, they are in bad shape. But the fact that they came back alive,
right,
and that even those ones came back and they said more will be coming back, I think we all should remove our caps for the president.
Okay.
And we should just give him a salute, a very big recognition. I mean, the fact that, and the ones that have been criticizing this president, they are allowing this bathroom and living room comments and something to overshadow the great victory for all Nigerians in the Chibok girls. And I think that is much more important, this situation with the Chibok girls. And as we should give credit to whom credit is due, and give honor to whom honor is due. That all Nigerians, no matter what party affiliation people have, they're supposed to recognize the fact that this man has been here only for 1 year or 1.5 years, less than 2 years, and has been able to deal with that situation. And the president and the government that was there before, under whose auspices this thing happened, was not able to do anything. And they had more time, the more opportunity to do that, but they couldn't do it. So, and I think that the fact that he's prosecuting people who are giving money to, and the military people who embezzle that money and who are responsible for those girls not being found on time, because if the money has been used to look for them or to fight Boko Haram, maybe we would have gotten the girls now. And it's prosecuted those ones. They were never prosecuted or charged, even in the other government. So this, and then now the Boko Haram is virtually defeated, because they used to control some local governments before. They don't have any local government that they control now. They're still doing some bombing like terrorism, but that is happening all over the world. So that the fact that this is a government with a difference is going to take super bias not to notice it and not to give credit to this government.
Okay, great. So this person is saying, how can I live a holy life?
The most important way to live holy life is to contact God. Holiness is not, you must know that holiness is not connected with anything you are doing physically. What you are doing physically is only a reflection of the internal holiness. Holiness has to start from inside. And the way holiness comes is by you pursuing God, pursuing friendship with God, pursuing personal relationship with God. So the Bible says that they that are perfect should, or mature should think like this. How should they think? Forgetting things that are behind and pursuing things that are ahead. The high calling of Christ. So you're pursuing of God every day to love Him more. That is holiness. And the Bible also said that, be perfect as your Father who is in heaven is perfect. And that perfect is desire and pursue to be like your Father, to be like Him. So when you attain that pursuit or that closeness to God in your heart, inside you, it will reflect on how you behave. You will behave more like Him. But so don't start from outside. I don't smoke, I don't drink, it doesn't start from there. Because it is not what a man takes in or that defiles him, but what comes from inside of him. So it is the things that come from your inside that defile you, not the things that you do from outside. That's what Jesus was trying to say. So holiness, the point he was trying to teach us that holiness starts from inside. So make sure that you pursue God in your heart, in you, in your personal walk with God. Then that will reflect to your outside world. Then you will not dress like a prostitute, you will not do other things. But the real basis of holiness is your personal relationship with God.
Great. So if you're the one that asked that question, pursue personal relationship with God.
Because if you are going to pursue the do's and don'ts,
right,
there are too many and you will never make it. You will only be getting disappointed every day.
Great. Okay, this person is saying, how can God's children win over the strategies of the devil and establish God's kingdom?
The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. That's the key.
Right.
What that means is, seek first the kingdom. That word kingdom comprises of two compound words. The first word is king. Seek the king. Seeking the king means seeking to be like him, seeking to know him, seeking to be his reflection, seeking to be his image, seeking to be his likeness. So seek to discover the king and seek to be like the king. But king, there is another word there, dom. Right. The king and his dominion. So seeking for the kingdom means seek to be like the king and seek for the increase of his dominion or for the spread of his dominion. So once you have done the first step, you are desiring to know God better, to seek him more, to be like him more, then the next thing you should begin to do is to expand his dominion. Do everything in your power, using your gifts, your talents, your abilities to expand the kingdom.
So can we say that it is impossible to truly know God and not be able to bring his kingdom?
If you really know God, yes. You cannot know God and not expand his kingdom. It's impossible.
Okay. So if you're the one that asked that question, I believe you got your answer. This person is saying, I'm currently dating a young man in Nigeria and I can feel that he loves me. How long should we wait until marriage? I don't want to commit to fornication. I want to wait on him. Should we have marriage counseling if we both have been married before?
Yes, definitely. If you are Christians, you should have some kind of counseling in your church. So either in your church or in his church, you people should have to go and present yourself. In different churches, there are different rules. In some churches, you have to know each other for 1 year or for more than that, or you have to date for half a year or 1 year or more. But, the time that you need is just for you to know not just for you to know that he loves you. That's easy. You could know that in one day. But for you to know the behavior, for you to know the specifics of the person, for you to know where you agree, where you disagree, for you to know, things that could cause trouble in the future, in family, character-wise. So that's why you need more time. The longer you hang out with somebody, the more you see their, weaknesses, faults, disagreements, and where the points where you agree or disagree.
Great. So this person is saying, sir, what has been your secret to surviving and thriving in Eastern Europe when others have failed?
Surviving, especially in Eastern Europe in the early years, was really very difficult.
Right.
I think, first of all, it's the grace of God.
Okay.
Because, I had many opportunities to have failed as well.
Right.
97% of the people I knew who came to the former Soviet Union before communism collapsed, they backslided, maybe 99%.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was almost impossible to survive in your own power. And so that would be the grace of God. The secondly, good people around me, environment. I was able to identify and associate myself with some few good people who are the heart of God. Thirdly, maybe my own efforts to seek God and to please Him. Those three things.
Wow, awesome. So, if you were the one that asked that question, I believe you got Pastor's answer. So, the environment you build around yourself and your ability to seek God, they are key to surviving in any environment you find yourself. So, in an environment where you are, you can create your own environment, the people that are around you, and seek God. Pastor, this person is saying, sir, I want to ask if you do help. Okay, I think we answered this last time. This person is saying, sir, I would like to know how to meet or to invite the Pastor Sunday Adelaja to my country. Okay. He wants to know
Did
how
they
to
mention the
invite
name of the country?
DRC.
Okay. I would rather invite you to come and meet me in my country.
I was expecting that.
Yeah, you could come and meet me here in Ukraine, or you could come and meet me in Africa, in Nigeria. But I have invitation to come to many countries, but I'm not interested. Okay. I'm only interested in going to Nigeria now and getting the job done.
Amazing. Right. This person is saying, I'm writing from America and I would like to know why the government covers up so many lies. Taking this election, for example, why are there so many lies and scandals from the Clintons and about Trump too? It is so bad. Almost no one knows who to believe. I believe in my heart that the government is the devil and the Antichrist. I feel that the government is in control of all the bad things that are happening in the world. I cannot understand why we are always sticking our nose in our country's businesses. If some of them want to kill their people, why do we stick our noses in their affairs, and in the process we are killing our own people as well? Is it only God's coming that will take care of all this? I am praying about it, but I need answers. Thank you.
Yes, I don't think the government is Antichrist, but definitely it is the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ that will take care of everything. We will never see the earth become the kingdom of God or become like heaven by itself. Only when Jesus comes. We can try our best, bring the influence of the kingdom, the witness about the kingdom everywhere. But eventually, only Jesus' second coming will put an end to everything.
Okay, so from this question, a part of our question, she's asking, why should we be putting our noses in that? Like, why should we be trying to intervene or correct some things if that is bound like that? So, in other words, probably, is it really necessary for Christians to be in politics or in governance and all that?
Okay, for example, let's say, since the world would never be good, so if you see somebody being killed or being raped outside, and that could be your daughter or your sister or somebody, armed robbery is going on. Since it's only when Jesus comes that end could be put on, let's just continue now. Anything bad that is happening in the society, let's just close our eyes. Since it will not even stop, it will never stop. Let's just close our eyes and let just all the evil things be happening and just have a free day. Let's try that option. Or maybe I don't understand something.
I think you understood. Yeah, this person is saying, Pastor, the Nigerian Transformation Project is great, but what level of preparation are we putting in place in Nigeria before you come? When are you coming?
People ask this question all the time.
Right.
I will encourage the person to go to National Transformation, to go to my blog, adelajablog.com/Nigeria, and go to frequently asked questions. There is a section there that's called frequently asked questions. So you'll find some of the answers there. Preparations are going on more than you could imagine. And I have teams in America and in Nigeria that are working all the time, every day, putting in work and preparation for this program. So we do what we can do. And concerning my coming, I want to believe God that next year I'll be able to, you'll begin to feel my presence in Nigeria. But this year, I'm still finishing, rounding up my battle here with the government and the lawsuits and everything. Once that is over, I'll be ready to come.
Oh, interesting. Okay, this person is saying, yeah, before that, dear viewers, please, if you're watching us, I would like you to please write us under the comment section where you're watching us from. We would like to know how many countries are viewing us today. So if you don't mind, do us a favor of leaving where you're watching us from under the comment section on this video so we can say hello to you and from the different countries you are watching us from. So going back to our question, Pastor, this person is saying, abortion is killing of innocent babies. How can we Christians stop it? No abortions, no compromise, no reason justifying.
Yeah, I agree. How can real Christians kill it?
Stop it.
Stop it. How can real Christians stop abortion? It has to be done country by country, I think. Okay. So I know how to stop abortion in any country. Maybe not in the world at large at once, but in every country I can do that. But it doesn't make any sense me telling you now. Then I'm going to expose the plan, and then you will not even be able to do it if I say so. Okay.
So maybe the person can write you?
It will not help the person, because even if I tell the person, what will he do with it? It's not something that you can just, okay, I just know the information in my head. What will you do? Are you going to use it? You cannot. Because it's something that I can do personally.
Okay. But is it possible you could teach some other people how to do it?
No, it's not.
It's not
something,
possible to teach.
Yeah, because it needs my presence and leadership.
Okay. But you're going to work with other people in order to get that done.
Definitely.
Interesting. Okay. This person is saying, sir, I would like to know, is it only the church where we can be led? Is it only in the church where we can be led of the Spirit to take our tithe? Okay. Is it only in the church where we are that we can pay our tithe? I think that is what that question is.
Yes, I already answered that question that no, not only church. And, even though we can still bring tithe to the church, but it's not only church. And I have a message on that is tithe only meant for the church. And there is a message on that on my Facebook page, on my blog as well, adelajablog.com, and on my YouTube page, Adelaja Official.
Okay, so if you're the person that asked that question, so please go to Pastor's blog, adelajablog.com, go under the video blog, and search for is tithe only meant for the church? I think that is the title of that message. And listen to it. You're going to get a detailed explanation to that. And I don't know if you're aware, HMT is around the corner. History Makers Training. It's going to be live with Pastor from the 6th to the 12th of November 2016. It is a training that you cannot afford to miss. So if you have the opportunity of being in Ukraine within that period, please come have a date with Destiny from the 6th to the 12th of November. Pastor will be live all these days with us to teach us directly. It is one thing to listen to Pastor online. It's another thing to sit under him for him to teach you directly. And you will be able to ask him questions personally and get to download from the right source. So if you're interested in joining us for the 6th to the 12th of November, please send your email to guest@godembassy.org and we'll respond to you, informing you all you need to be a partaker of that training. I can promise you that you will not regret being a part and parcel of that training. I am a product of that training. So come have a date with Destiny for the 6th to the 12th. So let's go back to our questions. This person is saying, sir, is it okay for Christian couples who don't know what to do to watch sex tutorial videos, which are like semi-pornography, in order to improve their sex life?
That has to be, that's your own decision. That's your own decision. What we did in our own family was, before we were married, we bought a book, not video, but book. That is tutorial as well. So it is the books that we read, and that did a better job than, doing the pornographic one or the pictorial ones or video. It's totally different. I think the book might be better.
Okay, so why do you think the tutorial video is not
because that is image. The image comes to your mind, and whatever
Okay.
picture you see remains with you, and you'll be tempted to be fantasizing it.
Okay, great. All right. So this person is saying, good day, sir. More grace, sir. What is your advice for a pastor who has less than 10 members after over a year of starting his church?
He needs to go for knowledge first. Every wise person starts every enterprise with wisdom. So with knowledge, he has to go for knowledge first. It means he doesn't know enough.
Okay. So he has to go for knowledge on church growth?
Yes, he has to read everything possible about church, not just about church growth, but personal relationship with God, about the will of God to start a church. Did he start it right in the first place? Let him go to my series on church and on prayer and on the kingdom. Those 3 series will answer his questions.
Okay.
On my daily broadcast.
Talking about that, I would like to ask, who is qualified to start a church? Because, most times people, because they say they are called by God or they feel they have the hand of God upon their life, then the next thing is to start a church. Who is qualified to start a church? That you have a call of God on your life, does that necessarily mean they should start a church, or you have to get specific instructions from God to start a church before you start a church?
Yes, that's all spoken about in details in my series on the church.
Right.
Also they could find it on the Kingdom series, and
Right.
on especially the church series and the prayer series. But I would just like to answer that fast. Anybody can start a church who has got a word of revelation.
Okay.
That, about starting that particular church.
A word of revelation about starting that particular church, that we simply boils down to you have to have specific instructions before starting a church.
Yes.
Okay.
A church has to be given birth to, first of all, in the spirit,
Right.
before it's related to your heart. You can only give birth to what God has already originally given birth to.
Okay. Great. So this person is saying, Pastor, please, I want to know if it is good to stop going to a church if all they talk about is money.
Oh, yeah, it's not just right to stop, it's just right to run for your life.
Okay, so if you're the person that asked that question, Pastor said you should run for your life. Interesting. So we are still expecting to see where you're watching us from, so you could leave where you're watching from, the country where you're based, as a comment under this video. We'll greatly appreciate that. Wow, it's great for me. I don't know if you're enjoying this section. I don't know if you're enjoying this time, but truly, I'm greatly blessed. Thank you so much, Pastor. We are still going on. This person is saying, please, Pastor, I pastored the branch of a church, but the founder of the church was not ready to assist me when I had accommodation problems and serious financial problems. Despite all my effort in asking for his assistance, fell on deaf ears. I decided to leave his ministry. I went to give him my resignation letter. He refused it, but I eventually left since I have done nothing wrong. I think. When he employed me, he promised me better conditions. Some of his leaders called me and told me that he was spoiling my name by saying negative things about me and somehow cursing me. Pastor, is this right?
What would I give you? If I say it's right or it's not right, I cannot say it's right or it's not right without listening to the other side. If you have left, go live your life. Forget about what happened in the past. Put the past behind you. Face your business. If you feel that your heart is not condemning you, go ahead and serve God the way you understand it. If you feel your heart is condemning you, then write a letter to the man, apologize. It will not kill you. Apologize again, and then go ahead and do what you need to do.
Okay, so go ahead with your life. Then this person is saying, dear sir, I have 2 questions to ask, sir. As a minister of the gospel here in Nigeria, 1, can it be possible to eradicate idol in the Yoruba land and make the gospel of Christ reign? If yes, please, can I have some hints to follow, sir?
Idol.
Idols, yeah, idol.
Okay. I think idols are present not just in Yoruba land. I think there are idols everywhere. And unfortunately, it might not be possible to eradicate them entirely until Jesus comes. Those things you call idols, they might be idols, but they are also more subtle idols in the life of even people in the church. So it's just about keep on telling the truth, keep on campaigning for the truth, keep on releasing the truth, and take one person at a time.
Okay. So his second question is, can we be financially helped for the outreaches to villages we are commissioned for through your ministry assistance, sir?
Yes, I will be able to give all kinds of assistance, but only when I come to Nigeria. I need to live here and come. And when I come, we are going to have an outlet that is going to be dedicated to helping churches and ministries. So you'll be able to receive your letter and your request, and yeah.
Okay, but that has to be when you get to Nigeria.
Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah, then this person is saying, sir, in the case of a jobless male spouse in which the money borrowed has accumulated over time, what should one do? Because I'm in this dilemma right now.
Don't understand.
In the case of a jobless male spouse in which the money borrowed has accumulated over time, what should one do? I think maybe this person is a lady and she is married to a spouse that is jobless, and the money he borrowed has accumulated over time. What should one do?
That is one of the things that I preach strongly, that a woman, the fact that you are married doesn't make you to be less responsible for your own life.
Right.
So even though the husband is supposed to be the one in charge of the family or financially and something like that, but, get yourself equipped. Even before you marry, you must make sure that you're already independent. And if you had been independent before you marry and you are still independent when you are in marriage, even though you are married, but you doesn't obliterate your person and your personality. You should still remain your person. You should still have your skills. You should still have what you can do. And so if your husband is failing to perform his duties, then you could just step in and do what you need to do to take care of yourself and your family and your children, that is. So, do what you need to do for your children. And if you feel like sponsoring him as well or helping him out if he's trying his best and he's just in a peculiar, in a situation that's, that is tough for him, maybe you'll be able to help him too. But if he doesn't want to do anything and is being irresponsible, then it's your choice to either just take your children and take care of them or walk out or stay with him to still keep on helping him anyhow you feel like. Okay,
talking about that, sir, about being your own person and all that, do you think, or rather let me ask in the other, what's your idea about couples? Is it right, rather, let me use that word, for couples to have a joint account like their incomes are together, let's say for instance, if they have a common account and both what she's working, her earnings and his own are together, but he has some debts and all that, so whatever she has is going into that. Do you encourage that in the first place, as per saying a lady should be her own person before marriage and after marriage?
Yeah, but I think they should have both common account and separate accounts.
Okay.
Okay, like for example, in our family, we have money that we make together, but we also divide them immediately.
Okay.
We have a policy. So for example, let's say we have $100 coming.
Right.
Part of the $100 we use for common activities or common needs, like we're saving for the family, for the children, or for the destiny of the children. We don't touch it. So that doesn't belong to me, that doesn't belong to her. So we put that in a different account for the future,
Okay.
or for the children.
Okay.
Then we have another amount that we put apart for each other. So part of the money, the income that is coming is from, maybe let's say 5% is from me, 5% is for him. So he has his own account, I have my own account for that, she has her own account for that.
Okay.
So, and then, other things that we need to, do something with. So, there are some areas where we have joint, and there are some areas where we have separate.
Okay. Before we go, we'll answer these final questions. Hello, sir. Is it possible to get support from someone like you? My husband wants to start humanitarian TV program, and he needs financial support from individual or an organization. He has copies of his past humanitarian services.
Yes. I would like the person to go to my blog, adelajablog.com/Nigeria, and register that project as one of the projects that we are going to, relate to, when we come.
Okay, so if you're the person that asked that question, quickly go to Pastor's blog, adelajablog.com/Nigeria, and register under the projects. And when Pastor gets to Nigeria, he will be attending to youth people. That will bring us to the end of our show today. It was a wonderful time. But before we go, I would like us to greet some of those people from these different nations watching us. We have people from the US. We are sending our greetings. Brazil, the UK, Belgium, Heidelberg, India, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Delta State, Nigeria, Berlin, Germany, Tennessee, USA, Dublin, Ireland, Calgary, Canada. We are greeting all of you. It was nice having all of you with us today, and we greatly appreciate you joining us. I will be expecting you same time next week for awesome time with Pastor. But please, if we couldn't get to your questions today, be rest assured that next Saturday we are going to start with your questions. So same time on Saturday, we are going to be coming your way again. I was your host for today, Dr. B. Sufficient. But before we go, Pastor, I would like you to say a word of prayers for the people.
Yes, Father, in Jesus' name, we receive your grace today. We receive your presence, and we release that presence and grace to everybody where they are watching us from right now. We extend your mercy, your grace, your blessing to everybody. That person that is having infection in the ear and is giving you headache and your ear is painful and heavy, we rebuke that infection right now. We pray that that ear will be released, that headache will go, and any other challenge that is there in the hearts and lives of people, we set you free. And we proclaim liberty, grace, healing to everyone. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, sir.
We have our next program immediately.
Please join us. Don't go away. Today is the testimony day. Pastor will be going on that immediately. Bye, and thank you so much for being with us today.